Hello, good day, good evening to everyone, and welcome. We in Powering You are pleased to introduce our moderator and host for this evening's webinar. He is no stranger to Power in You, for he is a business partner and a very good friend. He is known as a board level supply chain leader and known as a supply chain icon in Asia and globally, having led and pioneered many supply chain innovations. With his vision of making the Philippines as a supply chain back office capital of the world, he founded and led the leading supply chain institute and solutions and services company, a BPO, in the region, operating successfully for 20 years now. To host our webinar is the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of PASIA, the Procurement and Supply Chain Institute of Asia, and also the CEO of PASIA Shared Services and Transprocure Corporation. Let us all welcome Mr. Charlie Villaseñor.
Hi, hello everyone. Yeah, this is Charlie Villaseñor. It's good to be here. It's the first day of December. How time flies. I welcome you to the complimentary webinar entitled The Pursuit of Passion, Success, and Significance. This will be Power in News last webinar for 2022. So we have a treat for you tonight that can serve as your reflection points before the year ends. Passion, success, significance. This evening, directors of POWERINU, Directors Benji Garcia, Peno Bugato, June Marfori, Elaine Cercado will dig deep into their core and speak from their hearts and share stories and life lessons on what matters most in life from their individual perspectives and drawing from their vast, unique experiences. Let me introduce them briefly. For Benji Garcia, over 30 plus years as an HR professional, Benji has gone through complex organizational and career challenges. Similarly, he has his share of success and failures in his personal journey. And as a senior citizen, Benji still strives to grow and be a better person each day. He finds helping organizations and individuals to be better as part of his personal mission. Now we have also Elaine Cercado. Elaine is a globally certified leadership and management trainer, certified practicing management consultant, and certified executive coach. And she is driven by her mission to discover, develop, maximize, and share the power within you. June Marfori has led management positions with local and regional responsibilities, both in the Philippines and in regional locations across different industries. He served before as general manager of a wholly owned U.S. subsidiary of a Fortune 500 company. Aside from serving as one of the board of directors of POWERINU, he spends his precious time in church service and with his apo or grandchildren. Penny Bongato is a motivational speaker, success trainer, career transition, life and team coach, HR professional, educator, and part of LinkedIn Top 100 Filipinos to follow in 2019 to 2021. The top 100 influential Philippine women to follow in 2021 to 2022. She is also the author of 3 books: Career Shift, Follow Your Passion, Ask for a Bigger Blanket, Huwag Mamaluktot Kung Maikli ang Kumot, and Forward Shift, Managing Your Life in Time of a Pandemic. All really very relevant. Everyone, let us all welcome 4 of the directors of POWERINU. I am very pleased to moderate this session, as tonight we are not only going to accomplish, or we're not only going to have accomplished individuals, but the founders of the company itself that has been long-standing business partner of the organizations I founded and led. Collaboration with POWERINU has been mutually and beneficial partnership and has been characterized by being centered on moral, ethical, and positive values and business principles. Tonight, we shall cover, among many others, questions like, which of these three things does one prioritize over the others? So many choices. What resonates more and gives one life? How does one make the right choice? And what consequences or fruits does our choice bring? I shall moderate, including questions that had been sent in advance to us. But feel free to throw your questions, pass it on to us, comment at any time for what we consider to be a fireside or informal chat. As you can imagine, not anybody of us here is wearing any tie. So let's be casual and be candid enough. This is a great opportunity to really make the 5 directors struggle with our questions. Anyway, I shall, as I've said, I'm going to moderate. And with this, let us begin. So I've got a few questions that was actually posted up a while ago. And maybe I would encourage you to think about it, put it in your own context, get an opportunity to really engage our panel of speakers here. I would like to take the first question and pass it on, and maybe I will ask a volunteer from the 5 directors. Which of these three things, passion, success, significance, does one prioritize over the others? There's too many of them. Kasi tatlo to, there are 3 of them. So I would like to
age before beauty ba?
everybody is beautiful.
Wag age. Wag age before beauty, di ako payag.
And everybody is young. So I will anybody want to take it?
I'll take a first crack, but I'll be brief. Ako personally, I guess the question is which one do you prioritize? Is that correct,
Yes.
Charlie? Yeah.
Which of these 3 things?
I will probably prioritize significance, because to me, my definition of significance is also my purpose or my core. As a result of that, I think if I put priority on what I consider to be important or my non-negotiable, if I may call it that, then all the time and effort I put into what I do, whether it be personal or the business context, will therefore become much more, should we say, meaningful, and then it's worth the effort. And in fact, to the point of the question, in my definition, it will drive passion. So that's my quick answer to it, Charlie.
Thank you very much, Jun. I'd like to ask from the other gender, like either Elaine or Penny, of course. Parang balance tayo today.
Penny, you can go ahead.
Sige, daya mo talaga, Elaine.
Age
Okay.
daw eh.
Age before beauty. Pero magkamukha daw tayo, Elaine. So, okay lang.
Compliments.
Anyway, compliments. That was something that made me really think. You know, Charlie, at a certain point in my life, at a certain point when I was younger, success was my priority. Nung bata-bata ako, success was my priority.
Yeah.
When we continue to age, and nagpapagkita-kita yung mga senior citizens dito o yung mga more mature, then passion becomes what came to me when I was in my corporate life in the BPO. And now when I'm reaching this stage of my life, it's now significance. And for many of our young ones, maybe success ang iniisip nila. And you know, it's part of life. You have to be successful. You want to be successful. So I'm now at the stage wherein wherein significance is important. Making a difference is important.
Yeah,
So that's my response.
I can ride on that comment of yours, Penny. I can relate very much. And it's really good to talk about it at this time of the year. Would Elaine or Benji have any additions to that question or answer to that question? Like to add more?
I can go ahead first. I think unless Benji you're ready, because I think your video is not showing at the moment.
Go ahead, Elaine.
Okay. My view is that all three are important. So I use the word important rather than priorities. They're all important. And depending on our phase in life and specific situation at that time, we might prioritize one over the other. So for instance, I was about in my 30s, I was late 20s, early 30s when I started asking, what is my purpose in life? And it didn't happen overnight. So it was a long process. At the time, a friend actually helped me out by giving me a book, The Path, by Laurie Beth Jones. And it served as my guide to create my mission and vision. And it talked about rediscovering my gifts and my passion. And from there, I was able to create an action plan and transition to where I thought my purpose would be. And that purpose was driven by my passion at that time. But being successful was equally important at that point in time because I wouldn't be able to transition to where I believed my purpose was if I wasn't successful. And so success, of course, in fact, I just saw someone ask in the chat, well, how do you define success? So it could vary, so from the time we studied, achieving degree, getting married, having work, and then having personal milestones from there until, where the phases of life that we are today, for instance, for June and Penny, like they were saying, they're now in their phase of life where it is significance that really matters. And I'd say that at that point, being passionate and being successful were equally important because, we're raising a family at that time. And so they were equally important. But the degree could vary at different phases of life. And then I'm also pre-retirement now, and so I hope to contribute and give back to the world significantly enough to leave a legacy, and continue to pursue what are important and valuable. And so they all go together for me.
Excellent. It's good actually. You responded on the question that was given on the live chat. How do you define success? Very important, especially nowadays, about how people actually really see success happening to them. So thank you for picking up that question. I think we can go back to that question again later on because I think it's going to revolve around that subject again. But Benji naman, any inputs from your side?
Well, very, very similar to what my three colleagues have already mentioned. For me, from my experience, a lot of it has something to do with the different stages in life that I have gone through, and also the level of maturity that I've had as I was going through that. I think to be very practical about it. In my earlier days, success for me was very much related to career, very much related to financial stability, achieving promotions, things like those, raising a family, getting married, all of those things. But I think it would have been much better, I think, to have had a much earlier appreciation of significance, because at the end of the day, I think while these things are important, I think my realization now more and more is really that they do have a habit of attaching to you too much, and I think significance for me has much more to do with being detached with the definitions of this world in terms of what success actually means, even significance, I think, because looking back, as many authors have already said, I would say that I have actually gained a lot more from the failures and mistakes that I've had, much more than the successes that I have had. In fact, I think my previous successes have actually cost me a lot of mistakes in life in the moving on. Perhaps having had much more failure in the past would have allowed me to mature much earlier and realize that these things are all meant to help me grow to become a better person. Less so much about popularity, about accumulating wealth and all of those things. So to me, the biggest struggle right now is about detachment to the things of this world.
You know what? I recognize one thing in your four answers. The four of you touch a lot on success and significance. I want to hear a little bit more before we even get out of this question. What's your take about that passion? Passion, di ba? Was it really very important? Was it made important or less important than the two? I wanted to raise it back because I heard really more about success and significance. But what can you say about passion? Probably I'll get one or two response on dito just to listen on this particular important word.
Maybe I'll go first this time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Benji.
Momentum ka pa, Benji, kaya you can move.
Yeah. Well,
Next.
yeah, just to touch on passion. As Elaine actually mentioned, this is also important. My own perspective, though, is that the real test for passion is when you encounter difficulties. Now, it's easy to get started with a project earlier on. The challenge is really being able to sustain that. You sustain that by the purpose that you have, the meaning that you attach to what you're doing. But I'd also say that as one matures, it's not every day that you get up in the morning and you get excited with anything that you like. I mean, I'm very passionate about coaching, but I don't always feel excited when I wake up every day about, hey, I'm going to coach 2 persons today. So to me, in a way, it can also be something that is overrated, because to me it's like understanding my purpose and what I'd like to achieve is more important than how I feel. I'll need to psych myself up. I will need to do what I need to do to be able to accomplish the task that is at hand. That's whether I feel so excited about it on that day or not, or maybe I'm feeling tired, maybe I've had a long day the previous day. So it's really about perseverance and pursuing it because of the commitment to what I'm trying to, the meaning that I attach to what I'm doing, regardless of how I'm feeling.
Yep. I saw nawawala si Benji, but I think I saw a question here. Is it subjective, yung tatlo? Are they subjective? Anybody would like to respond to that? There's a question on the fly here. Does that mean that all of the 3 factors are subjective? Anybody who would like to take the thing up?
Yeah, siguro
Maybe
Charlie, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
Jun.
Yeah, personally, I believe so. Because to me, passion and even success, as again replied in my first response, it's really driven by what I consider to be significant. So, I think there seems to be some inference to, and I don't think it's intended, but there seems to be some inference to equate passion, for instance, with the amount of physical energy that one can expend. No, so that may not be intentional, or that may not be the definition, but sometimes it can pick it up like that. So at my age, I wake up in the morning and I have aches and pains. Does it remove my passion? It slows me down, but the passion may be demonstrated in a non-physical manner. No, as long as it is what I consider to be significant. So, in the same token, in my younger days, within the same company, I did not feel passion to do well in a particular function because I felt that work was not letting me be who I want to be. that work was not defining my purpose. And so the passion, if I concretize that in behavior, it could be doing more than what is expected, be volunteering, even though when I'm not asked, and putting in more hours than necessary, and being told minimally and yet completing the task on my own initiative. That was passion, and I can demonstrate that today, 30 years after that particular time, or I cannot, even if it doesn't require physical effort. So sa akin ganon, no. I think that yeah, it's based on your phase in life, but I also define that passion is not necessarily related to, it's related more to drive and commitment and a sense of responsibility that comes from the inside. But after
Yeah.
I define that it's significant to me, nothing will stop me from giving in more than what's expected, because to me, it's important. To me, yun yung passion.
I like the word
Let-
when you say drive. Hindi lang because of lack of energy, but drive. Yeah, you want to say something, Penny?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I'd like to give my 2 cents worth also on the question on success. How do you define success? And I remember conducting a workshop before, and I put their success means getting rich. And somebody raised their hand and said, I don't want to get rich. Success for me doesn't mean getting rich. So success may mean different things to different people. Having a good family, being happy with the family, that's success for them. So the meaning of success is different for each and every one of us. Passion, for me, passion is doing the things that you love to do and not expecting anything. And not expecting anything. And really, how do I say it? When you do the things you love to do, you don't have to work a single day in your life. Let me give you an example. You know very well that I am a professor. I teach in college. Last term, I had 100 students. 100 students. And I did online lang naman. And I did one-on-one with all my 100 students. It's 50 hours of unpaid time because we didn't have to do it, but I wanted to do it. I wanted to have that opportunity to talk to my students one-on-one because I want to see how they are, just want to be with them, just want to make sure that they're okay. And of course, that's a oral final exam, which is nothing very serious. But that's something that I'm passionate about. Now I'm in that retirement stage of even teaching, but I've said I will continue to teach until they allow me to teach because I'm very, very passionate about helping and working with the students and letting them be the best that they can. So
That
for me, that's my passion.
And that makes you significant.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yun ang importante din. Anyway, there are other
Can I
questions.
also just
Yeah.
share a
Go
bit
ahead.
on that?
Sige,
For
Lane.
me, passion is my fuel. It's my fuel for life. So passion is the same as being enthusiastic. And enthusiastic comes from the word entheos or entos, entheos, and that means divinely inspired or possessed. So combining the roots, in, and theos, God, hence in God. It's almost like a divine inspiration or divine intervention. And how will I know? It is something I'm very excited about. Like what Penny has said, we can do it. We're so excited to do it untiringly, even for free, So I'd like to share it with the world. So passion is my fuel. And, it is something that can be related to our gifts. And that's why earlier when I was saying, I took that path of rediscovering my gifts, my talents, for me to be able to see, okay, what can I share with the world that the world needs, that is aligned to my purpose. And so with that, I'm hopefully on the path to success and significance. And of course, passion will keep me going, for that journey.
Yeah, thanks for the positive feedback also from the audience. Parang first question pa lang, we can already see the passion from all of you, the success behind it, and the significant aspect of it. Thank you very much for that. We'll take a little bit of a spin on this next question, di ba? Kasi life, or how you define life, our life today, your life yesterday, and your life in the future are going to be very, very important, especially for the future also. What resonates more and gives one quote-unquote life? Ang importante dito yung meaning on how you actually take in and how you actually believe and define life. What's give one life, di ba? That's a very deep question. Sabi nga ng isang participant dito, life is a journey.
I can go first this time. Just like Benji went.
There's a momentum ka na, Elaine, so don't hold on.
So this time, is it beauty? Joke. I'm sure Penny would be the first. So, for me, what resonates, what gives life? As I mentioned, all of them are important. So it's a balance among these three. It's a balance among the passion, the success, significance. It's among this all the wins and even failures, as what Benji said. Balancing that can sustain us through our lifetime and hopefully even beyond our lifetime through the legacy. I would equate it to like a graph that if we graph our life journey, we've done it in a few leadership exercises where when you graph your work successes, you have graph that points upward. Sometimes there's highs, there's lows. When you graph sometimes your personal life journey, there are, if you put an equilibrium, there are probably more lows if you are very successful at work. Or when you're very successful personally, there could be very low points at work. So finding that balance is the challenge, such that they are all close to that equilibrium, so that we're journeying through life happy, joyful according to our purpose, and living that passion successfully and with significance.
Great.
It's not an easy thing though. It's a continuous challenge. And I guess that's the next question as well.
Great, thank you. There's even some inputs here. Thank you for the input. Sabi ni Rose, life is an unending happiness. That's how to live it. Dapat happy siya ka talaga, no? It's so a struggle if you don't live life with happiness. I can just relate on that. And thank you, Ed, for mentioning me here. Ed Uwet, who's also joined here. I know Ed is somewhere out there, some province, but I know Ed quite supportive also on many things that we're doing. Is there anybody who would like to take this about life? Or I will ask June. June,
Okay.
I'll take you on this.
Okay. Well, sa akin kasi yung what gives life, I'll relate it back again to significance. And because I'm a Christian, so I live and seek to constantly live by the values and the virtues that I know makes us live for others and become more than what we are capable of. No? So sa akin is what gives life to me is if in every encounter, whether that's in a work setting or a personal setting, I will always ask myself, are people better off having encountered me? No? So that to me is important, so that even if we are interacting with each other in a context where work needs to be done, there are tasks to be accomplished and goals to be achieved. It's important also, what's the process like? What's the interaction like? And I think si Elaine alluded to it by saying that there has to be that alignment, no? Uh, the where you are high is when there is alignment between the personal as well as the work. And that's why I say kanina do sa example ko, Charlie, sabi ko nga, I did not find significance in that particular function I was in, decades back. So I did not have passion. To me, that was not life-giving, neither to me or to the people I was interacting with. So I would recap it as that. What gives life, I guess, is being able to uh, engage in something that provides significance not only to myself but to those people that I interact with. So a good to me as a good exercise. I'm not able to do it every evening, but before I sleep, I just ask myself, what legacy did I leave today? Before I would go to sleep, were people better off having encountered me? I kind of look back and who are the people I encountered with, and are they better off or are they worse off? And then that's my action plan for tomorrow. If I touch people's lives in a negative way and they are worse off than before I encountered them, then that was not significant, And to me, I should re-examine my what I put effort into and how I relate to others. I hope that answers the question, Charlie.
Actually, John, one of our attendees here, si Mariel, really reinforces what you're saying. Sabi niya, along the line of you need to be significant to others. If not, para ke, no? I think ganun ang that's how it resonates on me. I think the message that she actually put in here really supports the explanation or the inputs that you actually gave. I'm gonna manage the time here. I'm going to move because there are a lot of questions coming up also, and there are questions that has already been given to me that was given ahead of before the exact webinar that we're having right now. But let's move on. I think the question of how does one make the right choice? Gusto ko kasi itong marinig talaga. We are lined up with a lot of choices nowadays, right? What to do with yourself, with a lot of things, with your life and everything. But then we ask these questions in ourselves. How does one make the right choice? When do you know kung tama yung decision na yun? And I would like to ask si Penny, and parang hindi na magugulat, ang next dito si Elaine. So she knows. Si Penny first, then I'll call on si Elaine. Parang they can anticipate and prepare to respond accordingly. Thank you, Penny.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. As a dual citizen, can you ask your question again?
Yeah. How do you know that you make the right choice, Penny?
Okay. Making the right choice.
Yeah. Making the right choice.
Making the right choice is based on, for me, like your ikigai. Your ikigai. What will you make you happy? What is it that you want to do? What is it that you can do? And what is important to you and others? So being able to realize that and making that choice of moving forward with your life. I clearly remember what my father said before he passed on, and that was more than 30 years back, many years ago. He said, are people happy when you leave, or are people happy when you stay, when you're here? So make sure that people are happy when you're here, not buti na lang umalis na siya. No? Not that. Because when you make the right choice that's meaningful for you, people will want to be around you. Not because of you, but because of what you can contribute to them. It's not always about you. It's about them. How can you make them better people? Through the words of wisdom that you use, through the questions that we use in coaching, through the examples that we give in our life. So making the right choice will also depend on how you show yourself up.
Ang ganda yun. I summarize it, the right choice is making an impact to other people's life. I think that's really a very strong
And I
enforcement.
have one thing that I always ask every night, like June. I always tell myself, be the reason someone smiles today.
Yep.
So did I make someone smile today? So
True.
I think I did, because she joined this webinar. I think I saw her. So so mission accomplished for the day.
Yes. How about Elaine? Elaine, would you like to add more to this discussion?
I'll go into the more the actionable part of it, no? Kasi how sa coach and trainer, mga how-tos, 'di ba? So I'll share what I did, as a possible thing that you might consider, for our participants here. It was, as I mentioned in the first question, it wasn't an overnight thing. It was a long process for me. By the time that I discerned my purpose, which was the very basis for the significance that I pursued, because passion was my fuel, success was going on, and then success became was defined differently from there, and significance was something that I tried to achieve as well. So how to was really rediscovering my gifts. I mentioned that already, and that is a deep reflection that one can have, because from there it's really coming out with the output of that is coming out with a mission and vision statement, and that's not an easy thing to do. I mean, we're used to having a vision and mission statement at the corporate level, but to do that at the personal level is a process that takes a lot of introspection, deep reflection, and really knowing what is important to us. Where do our gifts lie? What can we pursue? Both at the aspirational and at the practical level, because of course life goes on. And then it helps to have a support network. So be it your husband, like for me, my husband, or I mean your spouse, and then of course people that you trust with, or nowadays, coaches, mentors who may be able to guide you along the way. And then for me, I mentioned about a book that was actually given as a gift by a good business network at the time, who became a lifelong friend, Omi Romero. He gave me the book The Path by Lori Beth Jones, and that started actually my discovery process. So it was a discovery process, and then from there developing, and then from there really pursuing and maximizing. That's why it ended up with the POWERINU here in Singapore. It was really that started that journey, and it's a constant iteration, and evaluation of where am I now, and am I close to where I wanted to be. And of course, a lot of prayer, a lot of guidance from our Lord God.
Great. June or Benji, we're going to move to the next question. But if you have any additions on that question on making the right choice, feel free to do so. Kung wala naman, we're going to move, okay, to the next question. This would be the last of the structured questions that we have actually prepared. What consequences or fruits does our choice bring? And of course, you know whom I'm going to call. It's either going to be Benji or June. And I like to call on Benji this time.
Well, definitely our choices, the choices that we make have consequences. And it's a matter, I think, of what we do with those consequences. Firstly, to realize the consequences, take accountability for those consequences, and realize what we can learn from those experiences. Like I've said before, the way I look at this topic on success is really not about consistently getting what you aim for, but about learning each step of the way. And sometimes there's difficulties with the learning path, the part of, at least for me, the part of stepping back and reflecting rather than insisting on what I would like to accomplish. So the consequences can be minor, if you will, and in some cases they can be very significant. So I think going back to again what I've said a while ago, these are the lessons that we learn from life itself. That we would like to we all would like to think that every choice that we make is the right choice, but that's really not the case. Because one of the things that is for me a paradox in a way, given what I do as part of POWERINU, and this is something I've been reflecting a lot recently, is that a lot of the things that we talk about in coaching and training has a lot to do with being able to say that you are in control. And at this stage in my life, I would actually like to say that that's absolutely false. We can never be in control of everything. Otherwise, this world would have been, very different, or maybe it would have been much more chaotic. So to me, that's the one thing that recognizing early in life is important. You do what you can. You reflect, as Elaine has mentioned. Try to discern what are your gifts. How do you make good use of them? But don't expect that everything that you plan for will happen, because sometimes you can be redirected. That's another definition of failure, diba? It's not a failure, it's a redirection. You're being guided. And I can tell you, I've got so many situations, even specifically the situation that brought me to POWERINU was a major redirection for me. I came very close to being hired again, going back to corporate 2 times, one step closer to just the final signature. And each time, something happened. Sabi ko, okay, so I guess it's no longer meant for me. Going back to corporate, there must be something else that the Almighty has actually planned for me.
Exactly. Wow, wow.
You
That
know,
was really
Charlie, it was really interesting how Benji and I met. So we belong to the same Light of Jesus community, and Benji was talking. When we were talking to each other, and all of a sudden I said, Benji, you want to join POWERINU? And what's that? And that started. Remember that, Benji and Ascot, and
Yeah.
that started it all.
That's right. So kasalanan ni Penny to.
everything happens for a purpose. And the word that I got from you, Benji, is redirection. I could also add to that, because I was a former corporate guy for a lot of time. Then I actually moved into my advocacy, and I could just imagine how aligned it is to some of you who took it outside of the box and did something that you're more passionate about, and that you're going to make more impact to other people's life. Again, sabi nga ni Penny, make somebody smile every day. Something along that thought. June, would you like to add something over here about the last question?
Yeah, I guess yung response ko dito, Charlie, would be very similar to Benji, recognizing that I'm not in control. I think it's the first thing, and then therefore to your question, are there consequences? Yes, but I look at them all as fruits. They might be negative from the initial reaction, but in actuality, it's a fruit. I'll be very specific but brief. I was still a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, going towards my 7th year, and because I knew what was important to me, and that was health and family and my work in community and in church, and so it allowed me a lot of introspection when I realized that so many things that were important to me were actually declining as a result of the amount of work that I was putting in my career. Sure, it felt good in certain instances and at certain points to be on top of a multinational company, to be regarded as a person of a certain level, stature, and achievement. But I look back and I said, this is not going to be good for my health in the long term. I'm not able to spend as much time with my wife and my family. I was soon to be a grandfather at that time. I was not able to devote as much time with where I felt I needed to and where I was being called to, which was my community and church. And so at that point, it was a decision that came down upon me upon introspection and and prayer. So I realized that moving now into retirement and then joining a group of friends and like-minded individuals to form POWERINU was not going to pay me as much as I was being paid. In fact, for how many years we were not paid at all, because we were a startup company. But then I realized that it was not a consequence. It was a fruit because I soon realized that I was reconnecting with my wife. I was reconnecting with my children. The first year upon my retirement, I was watching my grandson who was newly born for a year. And that could not have been any more uh, positively described as a fruit compared to being there in the workforce and achieving much more than what was set upon us as goals for a multinational company I was leading. So to me, I guess there are consequences, yes, but if we look at it in the right perspective, they're all fruits. So I had to make that choice. It was a fruitful choice because it linked directly with what I considered to be my core, what was important to me, and what was my purpose.
Great. Okay. Okay, Elaine.
I'll just comment
Go
very
ahead.
quick. I
Yeah.
know time is running. For me, it's energy. Endless amount of energy. That will be a fruit. Joy. We'll have joy. Regardless of what kind of stress or pressures we are going through on a day-to-day basis. Deeper joy. Empowerment. We'll be empowered. Empowered by God, empowered by other motivations that and things that are important to us and people important to us, and peace. We'll have peace. So I think those are fruits of whatever choice that we go through. There will be many highs, many lows, but like the rest, there will be many fruits that will sustain us.
Okay. If for the audience, if you have any particular questions, feel free to raise your hand. I'm gonna call you, and I can allow you to unmute and ask the questions directly. That's our treat for you for tonight. But while you're actually thinking about that question, be ready with your question, and you can verbally articulate that. But I like to ask the question to Benji. Benji, what is the first step in finding the meaning of our lives?
That's I wish that was that easy. I think that that in itself is a big question that one has to understand as one goes through life. Sabi nga, the first step in after you were born is to figure out why were you born. And once you figure that out, that would be really important. But I guess the few things that you can learn that you can use, for example, are the talents that you were given, the gifts that you were given, the people that you meet. Actually, they are actually guiding. Now, there are people that will be able to guide you, and of course, prayer becomes really, really important. I think those were the things that would be really important to discern. But I personally, from my own experience, it was not like an aha moment over an evening's reflection.
Yeah. Something related to that also. How does one carry on the passion and meaning well beyond retirement? Penny, would you like to take it? Well beyond retirement.
May retirement, you're asking me, Charlie.
Kasi, minention mo kanina yan.
Well, beyond retirement. If you know what you're passionate about, age does not really matter.
Mhm.
If, for example, I retired at the time at 60. Yes, I'm over 60. So I retired at 60. And when my boss at IBPAP, the Business Process Association of the Philippines, told me, you don't need to retire. You know, retirement age here is 65. You can still go on. But I told him, I remember telling him, you know, there's still things that I love to do. I want to do. If I don't retire now, when will I do the things that I love to do? It might be too late. So I need to let go of something to give me space to do something else. And I learned that what I wanted to do is slightly different from the work that I was doing. I was passionate about the work that I was doing, but there were other things that I wanted to do. So it's it's really the passion that drives me, no matter how young or how old you are, that gives you a lot of meaning and joy in life. It's not just happiness, huh? It's joy. I'll give you an example of what gives me joy. Some people say that it's a chore. I'm so excited to wake up in the morning. I wake up at around 6 o'clock. Why? Because I have to feed my 2 dogs, my 2 cats. I have to make sure that they go out. And is that a chore for me? No, because I love them. I love my fur babies. We're empty nesters. So I love my fur babies. That's not a chore for me because I love them. So for me, taking care of them is like taking care of the apo. So I'm very passionate about taking care of them, of my fur babies. And it gives me a lot of joy. So it's well beyond retirement. It's well beyond work. It's well beyond, do I get financial incentive for doing this? No, but it's really for me.
If I may add to that, retirement means not stopping. That's what Penny is saying.
Yes,
Not
retirement,
stopping.
Charlie, means retiring. You
Changing your time.
retires. Yes, exactly.
You are
Change it.
good. I should get ready for that. Okay. There is one thing here. People are tired. You know, people get tired. You know, then sometimes the passion disappears. So the question here that was raised to us is like, if you feel so drained every day because of the demands of your function or job roles, how do you rekindle that passion? You know, especially when you're doing it same thing every day, in and out, rat race, you know, doing it every the usual way you get to use it. How do you rekindle that passion? Sometimes it becomes recurring, repetitive, and you're so drained out. How do you rekindle it back? We need people to be motivated tonight to rekindle that back on whatever they're doing. We need a little bit of a push and motivation here. How do you think people get to rekindle that passion?
Charlie, based on that definition, we are referring to passion as energy, because the context was you are feeling tired, you're burning out. So because I think the four of us talked about passion from very different definitions. So it really matters how we are defining it in that particular question. And I assume that the context is about energy.
Yep.
So,
And I remember what Elaine said, fuel.
So I can share something as well on that. So, I think human as we are, we get tired. And especially on, through the day-to-day grind. And in fact, studies show that even during the pandemic, we even became more tired, right? Because boundaries blurred. And then when we're pursuing so many things or doing so many things, we get tired. We seem to be doing many things, but in the end we seem very tired, right? But the reality is, of course, we will feel physically tired, as human beings. So we pause, we rest, And I think it's very important
Yeah.
that we take care of ourselves and that we rest. And during that rest time or pausing, be it a short rest recharge or a longer pause, for some they take sabbatical, or redirect, as what Benji said earlier. We take that as a meaning. We can take that as a meaningful pause. We can do something to reflect on. Okay, where are my energies now? Where am I being directed to in terms of where I will give my energy? And of course, again, going back to the how-tos in terms of speaking with people we love and looking at the guidance from God, from different people, from whatever or whomever can help or support us. Then hopefully from there we can discern where is now my passion, or where will my passion and energy intersect, and of course where can I contribute. And so it's a long process. I'm just trying to be as simple as possible as well here. But yeah, we can talk more to
Yeah.
whoever who ask it. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Time
you.
is running out on us. I just would like to give you like 30 seconds if you have anything to say as a message to everybody that is listening to us. We are live on Facebook. We are into Zoom. So, team, you've done a fantastic job, sharing your thoughts, your lives, your insights. But allow me to give you 20 seconds if you want to say anything or a message to everybody who's viewing us right now. June, I'd like to.
Okay, Charlie, I'll start. You give me 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Siguro very important is develop a very high degree of self-awareness. I think each person should constantly look at oneself, acknowledge your giftedness, your talents, and what are the things that excite you. And based on what Elaine said, what makes you enthusiastic? And then look at your core, what's important to you, what's significant to you. From my personal perspective, if you are focused on those things, it should drive passion regardless of physical fatigue, and it should allow you to achieve success, and by your own definition of success. That's how I would end it, Charlie.
Thank you very much, June. I'd like to call on Penny.
Okay, I wrote it down so that I don't forget it. Similar to what June said, live your passion, define what is success, live your life of significance. I'll tell you a quote that I so love, a cartoon snippet that I so love. Charlie Brown, the Peanuts, Charlie Brown and Snoopy talking. Charlie Brown said, "We only live once, Snoopy." And Snoopy said, "No, Charlie, we only die once. We live every day." So live our lives the way we
Fully.
want to every day, fully.
Thank you very much. Well said, Penny. Elaine, I'd like to call on you. I'd like to have Benji at the last, but Elaine, please go ahead.
Life is a journey, right? So, where we are today, I'm sure we have grown from yesterday, and we will continue to live this journey. So, find a balance among passion, success, and significance. If we're only passionate but without, achieving some milestones, for us to know that we're on the right track, or achieving significance, or living a legacy, then it might not give us those fruits that we have been talking about, like joy, peace, empowerment. And it's really important that we find a balance to sustain us through a lifetime. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Elaine. And finally, Benji.
Yes. While it is said that life is a journey, life is actually very short. So don't take too much time trying to figure out what really matters to you, because you'll never know how much more time you actually have on this earth.
Amen.
What
Well said.
Amen.
There's
As
no
an
better way to
ending.
end it
Well said.
Benji. I was really led to that. So thank you very much, Benji. Thank you very much, Elaine. Thank you very much, June. And thank you so much, Penny. We all learned a lot, but allow me to also give a few announcements here, so you don't miss out. Subscribe at POWERINU. .com.ph, to get updates. I know a lot of people likes this. We're receiving a lot of good feedback right now because POWERINU have a lot of events, webinars, and free resource from POWERINU and its partners. Lastly, everyone can access the recording of this webinar through POWERINU's website. Maybe you know somebody who would like to access it or to share the discussions here. Feel free to do so. Facebook page and YouTube channel are where it is, or where it can actually be found. Everyone who registered in this webinar will automatically get an invite to POWERINU first complimentary webinar of 2023. This is because POWERINU runs so many webinars that everyone would like to attend into. So you're privileged to have that free registration. Well, one thing, webinar speakers, time to shine teaser. If you know anybody who have, or you know someone who is interested to showcase a short talk or presentation that will be delivered in one of the POWERINU complimentary webinars in 2023, please feel free to reach out to POWERINU, team@powerinu.com, and grab this opportunity to speak in one of POWERINU complimentary webinar as well. Just email the team@powerinu.com.ph. The criteria for the speaker selection will be shared soon in the website, to watch out for it. So, regarding the seminar survey, please take a look at this. We would really value the feedback that you're enjoined or encouraged to actually accomplish. Before we officially end, we would like to request for 10 seconds of your time to answer this short poll, or we can actually get your feedback. You can kindly scan this, so it's easy to scan this. It's already flashed on your computers or mobile phones. You can scan the QR code in the screen or click the link we sent in the chat. Your responses will help us or POWERINU further improve. So thank you in advance for your feedback. And finally, as we come to the exciting part of this month, everyone, thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you also for those who have been attending or watching POWERINU's monthly webinars. We certainly enjoyed learning and growing with you through the speakers and guests. We wish you a blessed Christmas and a hopeful and wonderful 2023 ahead. Be empowered, be blessed. So thank you very much, everybody. I think we're right on time as we end everything in the right order. Thank you so much to the team POWERINU, and of course Trina, who is, I know he's actually on the background of all of this arrangement. To the team POWERINU, I've already put this thing up. Maraming salamat sa inyo for allowing
and thank you, Charlie,
for allowing us, to really listen to very important insights, especially at this time of the year and at this very moment when we need a lot of inspiration and insights coming from leaders who has been there and done that. So maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Thank you very much and good night.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good night, Charlie. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, Charlie.
See you in the next POWERINU webinar. Thank you so much. Bye for now.